Hey everybody, my name is Brendan Noble. I'm a young adult author. Welcome back to my Slavic Saturday series where we talk about Slavic history, mythology, and folklore related to my Slavic fantasy series, and specifically the first book in the series, A Dagger in the Winds. This week, it's Halloween, so I thought that we would try to look at what the Slavic, or the early Slavic specifically, period of Halloween or celebration would be considered, and that would be called the Dziady, which was a celebration of the ancestors and the people who have died. Before I jump too far into Dziady, just as a reminder, I'm still looking for advanced readers for my book, A Dagger in the Winds. This is the first book in my Slavic fantasy series, as I mentioned, and advanced readers will receive a free ebook copy of the book 1 to 2 months before publication, and in exchange for a review either on Amazon or their favorite retailer. So if you're interested in doing that, there are links down in the description below. But now let's dive into the celebration. Sometimes translated as Forefathers' Eve, Dziady is a celebration of ancestors in Slavic and early Slavic tradition. And this is important because to the early Slavs, the not necessarily worship, but the honoring of ancestors was incredibly important. It comes through in some of the demons, such as the Domovoi, then the Domovik, that were ancestral, sometimes figures considered to be of the household. And so the remembrance of these different ancestral figures and then a honoring of them is an important period. And specifically, Dziady happened twice a year, both in the spring around the start of May and then in the fall right around now at the end of October to the start of November. And this happened because it was thought that twice a year the souls of the undead that died naturally would return from the underworld of Navia or Nav and come to the earth. And during this time, they would perform this Dziady celebration for these people and as the remembrance of them, but also a celebration with them during these times. So how the celebration occurred is they would build massive bonfires around in their graveyards, and it was meant to show light to these people returning from Navia, and as well as giving them warmth. So it had a kind of dual purpose there. And according to culture.pl's great article on this, I'll link them down in the description below because they have a nice article as well covering Dziady. The historian Karol Seznocha described the festival in one of his books as this. Each settlement went into its cemetery, each family to its grave. There they poured sacrificial blood into a cold fire. They put bowls with food on barked woven seats and on branches near the graves. New clothes for the dead were hung. So these different types of offerings, from food to clothing to the sacrificial blood, was all meant to be both honoring and helpful to the souls of the afterlife, specifically related to your family. And this is partly because while Navia was often thought as a very positive afterlife, it was often thought as a paradise with plains and forests and yada yada yada, but the journey to Navia was often considered difficult. And so these sacrifices were meant to ease them and also just be a celebration with family members who might be lost, which also makes this celebration both a celebration but also a solemn time for those who have lost loved ones, and it was thought as a remembrance period for them. So at the end of these festivals, the souls had to be shown the way back to Navia as well. And to start this trial, what people would do would be, instead of pumpkins as we talk about with Halloween today, they would have karaboshka masks, which are masks carved of wood or clay that were meant to make them appear as the undead. And then carrying torches, these people would dance around the fire and then show them the way to the underworld, per se. And it was meant to allow the souls to continue on their journey and ease them on their way to Navia. And this was important because you wanted your family's members' souls that you've lost to go to Navia because it's considered this happy afterlife, and you want to make sure they get there. Now, I've talked a lot about these different souls, but this is very important point, is the fact that these are only the souls of people who died and lived naturally. I've talked a lot about in this channel about how demons often are people who died unnatural deaths or lived what was thought as an unnatural life. And this comes up here as well, specifically because these demons never go to Navia when they die, they stay on Yavia, which is Earth. And so these demons are always lingering around, especially at night, but on festivals like Dziady, they are even more prevalent. And so fires are built especially on the graves of these demons, or the people who were thought to have died and become a demon, to prevent them from coming back. And to do this, people, whenever they pass these graves of these people during their the days during the year, they are thought to specifically drop a stick or a branch, specifically a green one, to allow there to be wood for that fire come the time for Dziady. And these fires were also built at crossroads, which were considered powerful points in Slavic mythology for often different types of sorcery and magic. And it was thought to prevent demons and witchcraft during this time as well. And all of this was meant, and it's kind of interesting because the fires are meant to show the way to the natural souls, but they're also meant to repel the unnatural ones. And through the rituals and how each fire is built determines this. Some people have theorized that this lighting of different fires and this torches and things to show the souls back to the afterlife is a relation to the original jack-o'-lantern, which sometimes had a similar purpose, especially in English mythological ideas. I don't know exactly if that's a thing, but it's an interesting connection regardless of the showing light for the souls into the afterlife. And the same thing will appear in my book of Dziady. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to appear throughout the series. I also don't want to reveal too much. But the idea of the souls returning, both positive and negative, will be very prevalent in the series. I can definitely tell you that, though. But that's all I have for you guys on this Slavic Saturday series. If you like these videos, please remember to like and subscribe down below. I come out with them every week. And as well, if you have any ideas or things you would love to hear about in the Slavic Saturday series, let me know down in the comments below. I always love to hear what people are interested in and what people want to talk about during different times of the year. But until next week, I will see you all guys later.